Aderemi. How are you doing?
Hi, Minnie. I'm fine. I'm all right. How are you too?
I'm good. I'm good. It's so nice to meet you finally.
Yes, same here. I'm so glad to finally meet you. We've been talking over emails for some time now, and it's so great to finally see you and meet you in person.
I'm so excited to have you with me and share your story with our audience. And
Yeah,
hope you enjoy the conversation.
thank you. Me too. My name is Aderemi Davies. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a photographer and filmmaker. I do a lot of documentaries, portraits, and try to tell stories. And I do films as well. And so I just try to tell stories with my craft, with photography and filmmaking. And a lot of my works are Afrocentric, trying to tell the African story in diverse ways to the world and share with the world.
So, what made you take up photography as your profession? Now,
Okay, I've always been in the media, and I also grew up, in the background. My family, my parents were broadcasters and media people, and so I caught the interest kind of from home. And I also, over the years, I grew up enjoying anything that has to do with media, television. I watch a lot of TV. I watch a lot of movies,
Mhm.
and I just like the fact that you can tell you can use these things to create narratives, to tell stories and all that. Even though I kind of evolved through the media, I started with simple computer graphics design.
Mhm.
I would do a lot of graphics. I did some. I worked. I used that was like I earned some money with that while I was in school. And then I
Mhm.
also started a company with my brother with that. And then we went on and on. And then when I laid my hands on my first DSLR, I just knew this was it. I'd been fiddling on editing videos, um, creating graphics,
Mhm.
images, posters, designs, and all that.
Mhm.
So when I finally, um, got the camera and I saw what I could do,
Mhm.
because I've been researching into filming, and I told you I just loved a lot of films. I consumed a lot of films growing up as a
Right.
young child, a lot of Nigerian movies, foreign movies, international, Hindu movies, everything. I just love storytelling. So
Oh,
when I started with photography and filmmaking, I just knew that those like that kind of brought everything together.
right.
Being able to create images and visual pictures that can tell what I express, you know, what I want to tell vividly. So those that for me was the height of it, the greatest opportunity I've been waiting for, being able to tell, to express. So that's what like they were like the biggest medium of expression I could find. And I just connected with that, and I knew this was it. So
So you mentioned your brother and you started a company. So has
yes,
your family been supportive throughout?
my family has been so amazing. In fact, everything is just because of my family. I told you my parents were also into the media. They were broadcasters. They've
Oh,
done a lot of things in that field. So when you just kind of replicate, kind of um, recreating what your parents have done, and now you are adding your own touch, your own innovations, your own creativity to it, and making it bigger. So that's it. And my parents have been so supportive, and even my oldest brother. We're just three kids from my parents, and it's all my family has been my biggest support system. So, and yes, it's initially when we started, it was a very unique field. Even though right now in Nigeria there's a lot of boom around photography and filmmaking, and it's becoming a widely accepted career. Government is really focusing, trying to empower people in that field and create vast opportunities, because it's a very booming career right now. But when we started, it wasn't that much. And even when I started out my company, my brother, we just started as we were very young university students, and we just wanted to, do our own thing and be entrepreneurs and, create our own story, our own legacy. So yes, it was really challenging, and it is still challenging because, it's a very hard terrain here in Nigeria. But my parents just understood what we wanted to be. Things have been really good. We've had our ups and downs, but we also have very amazing breakthroughs, and they've been so supportive of that, and we just keep hoping for the best.
That's great. Congratulations on like following your passion, and you're doing exactly what you wanted to do, which is great.
Exactly,
Not
exactly.
everyone does that. Not everyone has the courage to do that.
Mm,
You know,
thank you.
that's great. So, what is the name of your company? Um,
HO3D Nigeria,
okay.
HO3 and D.
And could
It's
you
the
elaborate?
full meaning is House of 360 Degrees, because we call ourselves 360 Degrees because we do full media, full multimedia, from graphics design to printing to branding, audio visuals, below the line and through the line, and then even above the line, advertising and all that. So we just thought, okay, let's create a name that encompasses everything media,
Yeah,
everything that we do. And
yeah.
that's where we came up with House of 360 Degrees. That's HO3D.
That's very creative, actually.
Thank you.
So, Aderemi, you mentioned that you want to use your photography and your profession to uh, to let people know about African culture, their values. Today, we have a global audience who will be watching you in this interview. What would you
Wow.
like to convey about African culture and values?
Um, African culture is so vast, and it's so interesting. It's so broad. What fuels a lot of young creatives like me, that we are into this field, into trying to use our own talent to tell our stories, is just we believe for so many years the stories were told by outsiders. Many of the stories were told by foreigners who come here and try to tell our own story for us.
Mhm.
And we're not too comfortable with that anymore. And we just feel, it is our time nobody will tell our story for us better than we would.
Yeah,
We know, even of course, there'll be misconceptions from outsiders who don't really know the nitty gritty. But how best can you tell your story if only when you take up that job and that role to tell the world what you stand for, the beauty. Of course, it's not like Africa is a bed of roses. We have our own inherent challenges, governance, corruption, just like a lot of countries are grappling with one
yeah,
thing or the other. But at the same time, there's still a lot of beautiful things about us, especially the people. For me, what fascinates me so much is the people. That's my greatest inspiration. The people, the resilience, the industriousness, the creativity, and innovativeness of our people. Even the fact that a lot of people people are still here. Like, for instance, here in Nigeria, I get inspired when I find people like me who, against all odds, inspired the government policy challenges, bad governance, corruption, people who are still trying their best to portray the best of Africa, of Nigeria, and to stand for something positive, trying to create probably their own business, to build their brand, just to what do good for themselves, even in the midst of all the challenges that kind of hold you back. So when I see such stories, I want to push it out. I want to inspire the world. I want to inspire people. For instance, the photograph the image that you saw that
mhm.
connected us, the story of Adenike Adebayo. Yes, she's, a young girl who was amputated at age 5 on both legs.
Oh,
Naturally, a lot of people, you see a lot of beggars on the street who probably because they lost one limb or one arm, they're on the street begging for arms and they can't do anything. But this is a young girl who, even though she doesn't even come from a comfortable family background. She comes from a very modest background, but
Mhm.
yes, she still sees herself becoming great, and she challenges herself. She spurs herself up. She's gone through all levels of education, even up to tertiary education, and she just wants to make great of her life. To me, that is an African story. That's a Nigerian story. That's something I want the world to hear. That we have people like that. That's similar to what you see, probably a story of an athlete with no limbs who
Yes.
still wants to race like every other person and who still does well. Now, if that can come from the foreign countries, I also want to share that there's a young girl in a remote area here in Nigeria who also is striving like that.
Right.
And I want the world to see that. I want the world to see that we also have great minds like this. There's something to learn from her.
Mhm.
I mean, we have people with full body, with full health, who are depressed, who don't believe they can't be anything anymore, or probably because they gone through a problem and then they are so down. A story can lift you up when you see a young girl like that. So that's what I try to do with my craft. And what inspires us, and I'm talking of creative like us, like me myself, is just looking for little stories like that
Right.
around the world. Just one story at a time. Might you never can tell who is watching, who's being lifted, who is who's getting the right mindset about life, about Africa, about Nigeria and its people. So
Right.
that's the basic inspiration, and that's what we try to do with our craft.
I can see so much passion in the way you're talking and sharing about your country, your community. It's just it's very inspiring.
That's where I am. So
Yeah.
I just have to make the best of it.
Right, right, right. So you brought up the picture that actually met us when I had gone to the UN in February, and I just came across that picture, and it just, it just blew me away basically. When I
Wow.
looked at it and I saw the subject line and what it talked about, I was like, you know what, I have to connect with you. So I just
Wow.
out of the blue wrote to you, and here we are. We're talking
Yeah.
and sharing our stories. Isn't that amazing? What
So
technology
amazing.
can actually, do and help uh,
Mm.
connect two individuals from two totally different parts of the world. And so, could
Thank
you
you so
please
much.
talk a little bit about that photograph per se? How did you find that girl? How did you come across that girl? And how did you, think of making a story around it?
I mean, you're so right, and yeah, I'm still going, but I just thought about just what I was saying the other time about just telling that one story, because if I didn't do that, probably this wouldn't be happening,
Yeah,
and I was so I was shocked when I got your email that you saw my picture at the UN HQ, and I was like, wow, I probably wasn't even thinking to go that far. I just created a simple story of a girl and put it out there. And surprisingly, it goes way over to the UN, and then you saw it. So, I mean, can you imagine that? It just encourages me, like, wow, okay. So this goes a long way. That simple, just one simple story going that far all over the world, and now creating this connection and
yes,
bringing this amazing opportunities. I
right.
mean, it inspires me myself, and yeah, I just want to do more. I remember when I met her, um, a client of mine told me to take a picture. He needed
Okay.
it for something, so I went and then I met her, and immediately I met her, I was surprised. I was like, wow. And I was about to just take a picture and go, but I've always been, inspired by such stories, and I've always been this had documentaries I had. So immediately I saw, I knew this was an opportunity to. I mean, this was a potential story I just had to work on. And then I started talking to her. I heard a story, and then I met her mom and shared with the world is one of the challenges we face. So I mean, they end with, but they gave me so much enthusiasm, and they were ready. They didn't hold back, and they said a whole lot. And up to now, we still talk. She keeps messaging me. We talk almost all the time on WhatsApp,
Oh, that's
and I
nice.
get
I
a
was,
mom. We get to call, and you know, great things have happened even after then. I
so
was actually talking about our documentary. Just talking about the opportunities that can come from even that I wasn't expecting that came from it. Like just the UN, it appeared, the picture appearing at the UN, like when you saw, then it got the documentary the video documentary got me a nomination for best documentary this year
oh,
at the
really?
African Magic Viewers Choice Awards. It's called
The,
the AMVCA. That was earlier this year,
oh,
and
the
that's
same
like one of the
documentary?
biggest,
The
yeah,
same,
the
oh,
our documentary.
right.
There's a video documentary. I do both photos and videos of my work, both the
Got it.
photo documentary and the video. So the photo was what you saw at the UN,
Got it.
but
Got it.
there's also a full 20 minutes video documentary that is on YouTube and it went a bit viral. So that was what a lot of people saw, and
Oh,
were able to, and they were touched to help to support her, because the idea was to use the document to raise awareness about our story and how people can support her to get new. We wanted to get her new limbs as at that
okay.
time, which we were able to do with the
Okay.
documentary. It raised awareness, and people supported by sending in some got the story got featured in a very popular dailies, the Punch newspaper, and from then it just went all over the nation, and
Really.
people sent anonymous people were just sending in money to our account to support her to get new limbs. So
Oh, that's very
that's
nice.
one of the success stories from the documentary.
Do
So
you mind
now,
sharing it with us? With us, that YouTube? Can I share it with the audience
yeah,
after this?
yeah, I will
Okay.
send you the
Okay.
it's on YouTube.
Okay.
And so now, after that, this year in February, you contacted me that you
Right.
saw the image,
Right.
the picture of her at the UN.
Right.
About the same time, about
Right.
the same time in March, I
Oh,
got about the same time I got a nomination for the
right.
best documentary at
Right.
a popular awards platform here in Africa, the
Really.
African Magic Viewers Choice Awards. That's with the
Okay.
video documentary.
Uh,
So I mean, it's apart from the opportunity of telling our story
mm-hmm.
and supporting her with it, it's even been a blessing to me myself.
Right. 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 I can
So
imagine.
I
So,
like
do
it.
you want to share a little bit about your current projects? Anything that you're working on, which is really exciting, and that you would like to share with the audience?
Wow. Well, I got my hands on quite a number of things at the moment.
But the ones that
Um,
your favorite ones.
okay, I'll talk about two.
Okay, that's fine.
One is I've been working on a body of work, a very robust body of work now, um, pictures and also a visual documentary. I
Okay.
call it The Art We Wear. The
The
Art We
okay.
Wear. ART. Now, it's about some of our um, attires here in Yoruba, or some of the things we embellish ourselves with here as
Okay.
Yoruba people, culture, from my cultural background.
Okay.
So we use headgears, and
Uh-huh.
we have our three-piece attire, which we call the agbada. Just like
Okay.
we have the three-piece suit, we have a three-piece attire too,
Right.
and a lot of things. Now, earlier, like some years ago, about 2 years ago, I created a documentary also called Omidon Styles Defunct, where we showcased a lot of natural hairstyles that were what we used to what our women used to wear a long time ago. So, and these hairstyles were not like they're different from the current ones now, where there's a lot of artificial hair extensions here and there. There's a lot of wigs and all that. Then it was basically using the natural hair, and then
Mm-hmm.
the women, were so creative. They create different hairstyles with the natural hair.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot of things, and it's very creative. So I'm trying to create a body of work that gathers all those. Now, many of those things are um, changing. They're evolving. Well, the world is changing. The world's becoming so global, and there's so much cross-cultural contact here and there. The West is influencing Africa. Africa is influencing the West. So we have a lot of, and in the midst of all this globalization, many of our peculiar cultures or traditional things are fast fading away. We are losing those things to modernization. We are losing them to what we've taken in from foreign cultures. And also, some of them are even evolving. Even we ourselves are evolving. So, some of the things we used to do before, we no longer, we're changing how we do them. But I just like to document history and to keep it for posterity, so that, because I believe so much in the saying that we cannot know where we are going unless we know where we're coming from, and
Yes.
then we understand where we are. It's when we can synergize where we're coming from and where we are that we can know where we're heading, and we can chart a right course. As much as we're mixing with other cultures, which has both its good and bad sides, we also want to retain who we are, because the only way we can retain who we are, that we can be able to stay safe, stay real in the
Right.
current global world. So I'm trying to use photography to capture some of these things. Like, that's why I call it the art we wear, because many of them are very creative. They look like art. Apart from being attires, there's a lot of art around these things. So I'm trying to create these images and a documentary that can show what our headgears used to look like when women wear headgears, the kind of hairstyle we used to carry,
Yeah.
kind of attire the men wear. So when I put this together, hopefully, for posterity, maybe the future generation can come back and say, oh, we want to know what our people look like. We want to know what fashion was like back in the
Right.
days, back in history, and then see what they can also make of it. So I'm
Right.
trying to put that body of work together and hopefully probably make a book out of it, or an exhibition or something. So
Oh, so it's
it's
in the form of an exhibition or a video or a what exactly is
yeah,
it?
there are images and
Okay.
video,
Images and video.
images and video.
Okay.
So the images will probably I don't know, probably make it into a book. I'm
Okay.
hoping I can make it into a book
Right.
or a photo book, or make
Okay.
it, and also have exhibitions,
Mm-hmm.
here and there,
Yeah.
just to show
Yeah.
people. And that's why I call it the art we wear. Like,
Right.
the art, we
Uh,
call them their fashion, but there's
yeah.
also a lot of art in
Arts
these
in there.
things that
Right.
we
So
put.
when can we get a little peek into that? When do you think it'll be ready and
I don't know. I'm still working on it.
still working on it?
I'm still working on it. Yeah,
So how do you?
I've done like two faces out
Right.
of it. So I'm
Right.
still working on about two faces extra. Probably when
Okay.
I put it all together.
Okay.
And how it could take time. It could take
Okay.
me some time, but
Do
I'm
share it with us once you have
oh,
it ready.
definitely I will.
Okay,
Then
that's great.
recently, the second one is I started something on entrepreneurship, a web docu series. It's called Invest Oyo. Invest OYO.
Okay.
We have a channel on YouTube. It's an online documentary series where I'm trying to showcase entrepreneurs here in my community, in my
Wow.
state,
Mm-hmm.
and then use their success stories to drive in um, investment from all over the world, from
Okay.
Nigerians in diaspora, from
Right.
international organizations who wants to expand, and
Right.
also to encourage homegrown talents
Mm-hmm.
on to go into entrepreneurship. Because
Right.
I just recently I launched that yesterday on Monday, the 3rd of August. I've been working on it all through the year, trying to compile the content,
Right.
and I launched that yesterday. There's a YouTube channel, and there's an Instagram page and a Twitter handle at Invest Oyo. So
Okay.
hopefully, I'm enthusiastic about it, and I'm excited about it, and I'm hoping for the best.
Very
Just
nice. Congratulations.
thank you very much.
Also, I can go to YouTube and check it out or Instagram.
Yeah, yeah. Though I have just
Invest-
one episode there now. It's going to be a web series
okay.
where we release a new episode every week
Right.
featuring an entrepreneur. It's just a 5 minutes documentary series.
Right. Right.
So we have a first episode. The debut episode was just released yesterday,
Right.
and then every Monday we'll be dropping new episodes.
Oh, that's awesome. So how is the entrepreneurial environment in Nigeria? Is it very supportive, or people face a lot of challenges in terms of funding, in terms of resources? Is it is it, I'm sure it is, it is very supportive, but anything from your side, your views about it?
Well, okay, just the typical challenges. Well, it's a peculiar environment actually. It's a peculiar environment because we still have our own. As I said earlier, we still have a lot of challenges here. We have
Hmm.
our own challenges here in Nigeria. Probably sometimes governance, policies,
Yeah, that's everywhere.
policies that get
That's not
changed,
just,
and that's
yeah,
everywhere. Infrastructure. There's a
right,
lot of infrastructural setbacks too. We're not up there, but people are really trying. It's also booming. I mean, it's one of Africa's largest
yes.
economies,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of potential, and
Hmm.
there's a lot of room for you to explore.
Hmm.
And young talents are taking up that mantle now. We used to have this for a long time, probably in times past, the orientation where our own parents, our fathers, their generation, they came from that angle where you just have to be either be a doctor, be a lawyer, there were certain careers that they were really limited to,
Yeah.
and they were limited to just get a degree and get a job, get
Right.
a degree and get a job.
Yeah.
So, but now things are really changing. Youths are starting to discover themselves
Right.
and explore potentials. Like, okay, fine, you have your degree, but it doesn't mean that you cannot pursue your passion and then
Absolutely.
make something out of your passion. Make your passion become an enterprise.
Hmm.
So we are having a lot of that drift now, and we're
Okay.
also having a lot of foreigners coming into the country. There's a lot of potentials. There's a lot of potential here in Nigeria. It's a very broad. I mean, we have a very large population
Okay.
and a vibrant one,
Yeah.
very active. So there's perhaps anything, whatever obtains in the world out there is we see it here in Nigeria. So there's a lot of opportunities, and people are really rising up to that.
Yeah.
And the government is also trying to encourage with different projects, different support opportunities, financing,
Right.
making registration so much easier and all that. So we're we're growing. It's a growing
Right.
economy.
That's very good. That's excellent. So
Yeah.
apart from photography, do you like music, dance? Are you into any other creative arts? Any other kind of creative arts? Or through photography, do you meet people who are into music, painting, or any?
Yeah. I
No.
meet a lot of people with
Yeah.
and I do documentaries on people in other fields as well.
Fields.
I use my own craft to
Right.
showcase other people too. I mean,
Right.
I've done documentaries on people who are painters or who are writers. I do a lot of
Very
work
nice.
and I work with them a lot. I work with a lot of writers. I work
Right.
with writers all the time. Probably a short film written by a friend, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna shoot this. We
Okay.
collaborate on it. A lot of my picture documentaries too. I use a lot of tech copies from friends
Yeah.
and other who are writers. I try
Hmm.
to and I like relating or creating how do I put it, literary works, recreating
Okay.
literary works with
Yeah.
photography. If I
Right.
could pick an excerpt from a book or a poem, there's one I did recently where I did at some point ago view of okay.
No, it froze. So let us 1 minute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Can we say that again? Literary arts
Am
part.
I good now?
Yeah. Yeah. You're good now.
Okay,
Lit-
so I also I used can you hear
uh,
me?
I can hear you now.
Hello?
Yeah. I can hear you. Can you not hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. It's
Okay. So
fine.
I'll repeat it. I'll repeat the question. So
Okay.
apart from photography, are you involved in any other field of creative arts like music, dance, or maybe painting? Or do you meet people in within your work area?
Yeah, I work with a lot of artists
Yeah.
from artists in diverse fields. I work with writers a lot.
Okay.
I work with writers a lot. I work with a lot of writers, probably like two of my short films were written by different people,
Yeah.
and we collaborate. Probably you're a writer, you have a story, and then I shoot it. And a lot
Okay.
of times I also try to create pictorial. Um, I relate poems. I create
Okay.
somebody's poem with
Yeah.
in a picture, and
Right.
I link that with to the poem or to a literary work. And
Okay.
there's time I created a look of Chimamanda Adichie's Ifemelu with a picture. There was a particular scene where she was talking about a character, so I
Okay.
tried to use my image, a picture, to create that character in the book with
Okay.
a picture. I also worked on a lady who wrote a poem
Mm-hmm.
about two women struggling for a man. So I tried to use that and I related that with the photo. And
Okay.
I sent that. I think it's one of the works I sent to you just in case you see. It's called
Okay.
Orisha Jempe Mejo. Okay, it has a Yoruba title, but I just tried to relate that poem in a
Right.
picture. And then I
Right.
walk away. I also showcase a lot of artists, like probably you're a painter, and I'm fascinated by your work. I try to create a documentary on you, or you
Right.
write, or you're a narrator. We work, so I keep working a
Right.
lot with artists from diverse media, and I used to produce
Oh.
sound. Yeah, I
Okay.
used to be a producer, but
Okay.
it's been long I worked on that. I create soundtracks digitally and also record some artists. I have a music studio, but
Mm.
that's been a long time I really worked on that. I've been so engulfed in photography and film works, but I
Right.
still find myself having to, use those knowledge,
Right.
infuse my knowledge with graphics design, sound production. I infuse that into motion picture is like everything together.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm having to relate to that.
That's very nice. So, last couple of questions. One is, these are COVID times, and it's been challenging for a lot of small businesses, a
Yeah.
musician community, artist community here in the US.
Mm.
Um, uh, but people are like looking at the positives and trying to move forward and finding new ways to, make kind of prosper, finding new ways. It's a new normal now, so people
Mm.
are finding new ways to do their business.
Yes. I'm too.
How
Yeah.
is it there in Nigeria? I'm sure it's as challenging as it is, but
Yeah.
I'm sure there are ways to tackle it.
Well, it's as I said, it's been a very challenging one. It's typical, it struck everybody unawares and it really affected a lot. For instance, one of the um, opportunities that we explore here, like as photographer, is the events industry. We
Hmm.
have a very, very big, we call it the event industry because, we celebrate a lot, large, in a very large way here in Nigeria, weddings, funeral ceremonies, people do a lot of events,
Hmm.
and it's one of for photographers and filmmakers. Apart from your personal expressions or probably your passion aspect, that's one of business opportunities that you get to work on people's events and you get hired to shoot people's events and all that. But that really events has been that the COVID really struck all that out suddenly, and it's not only photographers, it's like a whole lot of people who
Yeah.
feed on that.
Yes.
It's a
Yeah.
big system. They are the planners, they are these decorators, they
Yeah.
are the
Everything.
musicians, the band DJs, the disc jockeys,
Everything.
a whole lot of people, caterers, who at least week in, week out, we look forward to, an event. And of course, it's like a circulation,
It is.
of income around the economy. Someone's father or someone's brother is a photographer. Someone's sister is a makeup artist. So
Yes.
it's just a way of transferring at least cash flow around, and everybody's you're getting something from this, and you also can impact somebody else, can affect somebody else. So that flow just got cut for many people,
Yeah.
especially we in photographers, makeup artists, wedding filmmakers,
Right.
decorators, everybody just got stuck. even the event centers that we use, they were all
Venues.
shut
Yeah.
down. A lot of hotels where people travel down, they lodge in, and they use the space. Everything was shut down, and it was a very hard, trying moment. So just as you said, everybody has to start recreating. Okay, as a photographer, probably I used to get large part of my income from events. How
Right.
do I create other sources? What can I do?
Right.
How do I make people? And then there was a long time where during the real lockdown period, where everything just had to be about essentials. People had to only reserve the little cash they had on them on essentials.
Yeah.
And this is a luxury product. You don't need a photo to feed you to live.
Yes.
So people, that was a very trying period, and they had to start recreating. Okay, what else can I do? How can I make sure photography is still part of what people need or anything you do, and we just try to innovate new ways to make them to create an appeal for what we do. And
Yeah.
maybe because I also have other I'm also into graphics and printing and other few aspects of media,
Yeah.
so we were able to survive with that. But gradually things started picking up, and it's largely, there's a large ease on the lockdown right now. Things are picking up gradually. People keep celebrating birthdays and they want to take photos. So we're surviving on that.
Right. Right. Right.
Events are gradually coming back.
Yeah.
And just think, well, it was a really very trying period, especially for people in this my kind of
Profession.
creative
Yeah.
enterprise. Even a lot of movies, you couldn't shoot
Yeah.
movies
They cannot.
during that time. A lot of productions, like for instance, multi-choice, that's DSTV, that's one of Africa's biggest cable providers.
Yeah.
Multi-choice I too, and they have a lot of their own projects that
Mhm.
they shoot,
Right.
series, sitcoms, movies. They had to pause everything. So the industry was like on a whole lot of, like a long pause.
Right.
They had
Right.
to start repeating episodes of some of their um, original series because they couldn't shoot new ones.
Right. Right.
So,
Right.
but
Yeah.
um,
It's the
things are
same
getting
story
back to
everywhere.
normal now.
Yeah.
Things are getting back to normal now, and productions are starting up, picking up.
Right.
Events is gradually coming back, even
Right.
though with a lot of procedures just
Yeah.
to ensure safety procedures,
Hmm.
proper social distancing and safety. But things are getting back. We're getting back to normal.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good. It's the same story everywhere, but things are getting better. Hopefully,
Yeah.
by year end or so, it should be
Hopefully,
kind
hopefully.
of like almost back to
Yeah.
normal. We'll see.
Amen.
Anyway,
We
so
will.
before we end, I would love for you to share an inspiring message for all your audience.
Mm.
Anything that you would like to convey.
Well, I think I'll just come from the COVID angle. I mean, that was something that taught us a very big lesson and make us see life from a different angle. With anything you do, just find a way to connect to people, find a way to celebrate people, to appreciate life in you and life in others.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, it's because the person, your loved one is that you have with you. It's because the person is alive. That's why you have them.
Yeah.
While they're alive, please celebrate them.
Right.
Make time for them and enjoy the relationship. Let's have less rifts. Let's have less fights, less quarrels. Life is so simple and so short. I mean, one day one person is with you, and the next day is gone.
Mhm.
Make the best of people while you have them with you.
That's wonderful. That's such a beautiful message that you've given to all of us. I wish you very good luck for all your projects, for you and your family and your community, and hopefully we'll be able to visit you sometime and see
Yeah,
you
yeah.
actually.
I
But
can't wait for
you
the
never know.
travel ban to be taken away.
Right, right, right. Thank you very much, Aderemi.